If you want to live to 120, you can't afford to let your brain age faster than your body. Your cognitive health is your greatest asset. So what are you doing daily to protect it? In this video, I'm going to break down the exact tools and strategies that I use to keep a sharp mind, a really focused mind, as well as future-proofing your mind. So I'm spending time with one of my health participants this morning, which is one of my words for patience. And this individual's number one concern was cognitive decline. Why? Because his uncle unfortunately has a lot of cognitive issues. And even though he's lived to 90 plus, that's a big challenge. You don't want to live the latter years of your life feeling like you can't remember anything. You can't remember your wife's name and things of that nature. And I totally get that. But while we are on the path to optimizing your brain function and future-proofing yourself against dementia and cognitive decline, which is my number one genetic susceptibility, by the way, the goal is what can we do now to optimize brain performance, memory, and vitality? So the reason why cognitive vitality matters for longevity is that you are only as strong as your weakest link in respect to longevity. You will only live as long as your weakest link. You could have a heart that's gonna live to 150. You could have liver that's gonna live to 200, right? The majority of the population, 1 in every 3 people have dementia by age 65. 1 in every 2 people have cognitive decline and dementia by age 80, which is staggering. That's half of the population. So the reason why it matters is because we need to take control of our health. And by the way, these statistics are getting worse and worse and worse every single year. And there's a reason why, right? Number 2 that I want to talk about is the daily practices. What are the daily practices to support mental health and neuroplasticity? So some of these practices I think are really, really critical for daily health, okay? So there's actually research behind being negative versus being optimistic and positive. And the people that are more negative and that are pessimistic, they typically live a shorter life and their brain becomes more atrophied, as well as a decrease in neuroplasticity happens, which is the ability for your brain to wire differently and to be able to adapt to the environment and think new thoughts, etc. So a lot of people, unfortunately, are like robots. Their brain is doing the exact same thing day in and day out, which is not good. And they think the same thoughts, right? This is probably why we're seeing so many people in the world that are so religious about certain beliefs, they don't ever ask themselves questions to get themselves out of the loops that they're in, right? Neurologically. And so what can we do to support this neuroplasticity? Optimism is one of those really good things. And one of the great exercises that I love to do in the morning is to open up a gratitude journal habit, right? Where you open up a journal and you write down 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for. When I'm at dinner with my wife or my children, I'll say, hey, what are you grateful for today? And we'll go around the table and we'll talk about what we're grateful for. So this is actually something that helps with your brain. The other thing that is really important as a principle is novelty. If you do the same things day in, day out, you sit in the same chair, you go to the same cafe, you do the same things, right? This decreases neuroplasticity. So right now I'm standing. Most times when I'm doing videos, I'm sitting, but I like to change it up. I have a sitting, standing desk. I've got a treadmill under my desk. I have what they call a Japanese rock garden, which is like a rock garden that you can stand on. And every little action that you take different is really healthy for your brain. And so you've got the most number of neurons in the top of your neck, in the tips of your fingers and through your hand, as well as in the bottom of your feet. So I like to stimulate my hands, my feet, as well as my neck differently every single day, like through massage or through different fitness exercises that I'll get into in a second. This is foundational for brain health. The principle of being optimistic, the principle of novelty and changing things up. One thing that I do as a novel thing is I'll walk up backwards up the stairs. If you want to use a handrail, you can do that. But that, again, your brain's not used to doing that. Always ask the question, what can I do different than I've done before? If you always go traveling to the same place, maybe travel somewhere else. It'll increase brain neuroplasticity. And so I'm going to get into biohacking tools for the brain. What are some really powerful biohacking tools for the brain? I personally like BrainTap. It's a little device that shoots flashing light that are the same frequencies as the binaural beats that you're listening to that help your brain get into alpha, theta, and even delta wavelengths. And it allows for your brain to become much better at getting into states of meditation. And you've got tracks that you can essentially hypnotically program into your brain, whether it's a Christian prayer, whether it's affirmations about being nice to people or whatever. It's really powerful. One of my favorite biohacking tools for your brain. There's also various pulse electromagnetic frequencies, PEMF bands for your brain. And you can put your PEMF band that is, on your, I think it's called neocognition or something along those lines. But you pop it on your brain, really powerful little biohacking tool that will help align your brain for sleep, align your brain for being in a healthier state, help to heal your brain if you're dealing with, fatigue or jet lag or some sort of injury. Another biohacking tool that I love for your brain is tissue regenerative therapy. It's something that's new. It's something that has been shown in Germany and in Europe to be very helpful for optimizing brain function. Softwave tissue regenerative therapy is my favorite device, and I use that on my brain to maximize brain health and function. But you need to obviously be working with a doctor in that respect to get the kind of results that I would love. So go to softwavetrt.com to check out a practitioner in your area that might be able to utilize this brain technology. Neurofeedback is amazing. Dr. Richard Abbey, if you want to check out his website, has amazing neurofeedback. You can drop ship it right to your house. And it's just amazing because what it does is it trains your brain and helps you get into a better state of exercise, I guess you could say, for your brain. And the last biohacking tool is more of an app. It's called Elevate. It's like a brain app that helps you elevate the health of your brain. All right, so those are some biohacking technologies and tools that I like for brain health. Now, the reality is our brain by weight is 70% fat, okay? It's 70% fat when you actually take out the water. Right? So you're looking at most of the brain isn't protein. It's actually fat. It's fatty acids. So if you're on statins, if you're on cholesterol lowering medications, what typically happens is you're not getting the level of fatty acids to your brain tissue that you want. Now, if you're eating vegetable oil and trans fats, that's actually a good thing because you're not getting those toxic fats into your brain as much as maybe somebody else. However, the goal would be, from a nutritional perspective, to be consuming healthy monounsaturated fats like olive oil and avocado oil, healthy polyunsaturated fats like omega-3s and certain types of omega-6s like cardiolipin and docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, or eicosapentaenoic acid, which is EPA. So nutrition is really important, but getting the right type of nutrition is really essential. And so the type of diet that I like, that I've seen in all the genetic panels that I've looked at on patients is a consistent kind of recommendation across the board. It's not super customized, but if I could just give you a recommendation, it would be a Mediterranean diet. And what I would recommend to you is being on a little bit of a lower carb Mediterranean diet. So that is some really, really powerful nutrition advice for your brain. Again, eat the colors of the rainbow. Don't forget eating raw, fiber-rich foods, healthy grass-fed meats or freshwater fish, as well as getting those healthy fats. Some of the top longevity communities in the world, they'll just drink olive oil, right? An ounce or 2 ounces of olive oil a day. Again, nutrition is critical for the brain, and I think the future of brain nutrition is also going to be in prodrome supplements and some of these prodrome products. I think there's some pretty good research there on what prodrome products can do for optimal brain function. And there's a lot of other ones, like Qualia Mind is another good supplement that has a lot of nutrients for your brain to help function at the highest level and really help you maximize your ability to function from a cognitive perspective. All right, so the fifth point that I want to make is movement is medicine. And movement is probably one of the best medicines for the brain. The brain needs three things. It needs oxygen, it needs ATP, right, which is energy, and then it needs stimulation. So oxygen, ATP, which comes from nutrients and all of that. and then it needs stimulation. So if you're not giving it proper stimulation, you're not feeding your brain. What I learned in functional neurology when I was going through to get my diplomate in functional neurology is that if you move your fingers, your wrist, your elbows, your shoulders, you're actually implementing and integrating afferentation, which is stimulation, into different parts of your cerebellum, which is your balance center in your brain. You can do that throughout your day, where you're moving your body differently. When you're exercising, you're exercising differently. And the cool thing about that is that you're stimulating your brain in different ways that actually create amazing optimization and function. Okay. So again, novelty and exercise, novelty and movement. If you're always doing squats and always doing deadlifts, maybe you do ballistic exercises or plyometrics the next day. Maybe you do lunges with your eyes closed, right? Versus just with your eyes open. It's something that will stimulate and challenge your brain differently. Maybe you are doing less weight and you're just going through deeper ranges of motion. That's stimulating the joints and the body and the brain differently. So again, you want to create novelty in movement. And one thing that I think is really powerful is vibration therapy. So in exercise in your fitness routine, find a vibration plate, change it to different frequencies, do some exercise on the vibe plate. I think it's a very powerful system to help you maximize brain function. So I want to talk quickly before I close here about my personal cognitive longevity routine. So when I wake up, I do breathing. I hyperoxygenate my body. I kind of do some Wim Hof breathing. It's a really powerful way to hyperoxygenate your brain and get your brain function at a high level. Another thing that I love to do is in the morning, I drink water and then I hydrate throughout the day. Now, one of the things that I do right when I wake up is I drink this product called ASEA, which is a redox reaction molecule that as we age, we decline in the amount of redox reaction molecules that we have. Our brain declines in redox reaction. And so I take these redox molecules to replenish that in my body, in my brain every day. I sit in front of the red light therapy, and then as the sun's coming up, I will change it to blue light in the morning. I'll do blue and red light therapy. And I like the different types of biophotomodulation therapy, which is the photo, modulation that you can get. There are different types, different benefits. So I've got panels in my room that help. Now, to get on a good circadian rhythm, which is essential for your brain and essential for sleep at night, you want to be getting really good light in the morning. So I walk outside in the morning. We are so light deprived and we have so much artificial light, unfortunately, in this world. So the goal that I would have is for you to get out of all the artificial light and then get out into real light. I do that in the morning. I do that in the evening. And it's important to do that even in the middle of the day, getting out outside. Now, when on days that I can't do that, or if it's overcast, I have a light panel. It's called daylight panel, and you can just turn that on, and it gives you a lot of the same lumens that is in the sun in your house. Then I take my supplements in the morning. I take supplements 4 different times a day. I'm not a huge believer in taking every supplement under the kitchen sink. And I actually like to cycle supplements on and off and kind of change it up so your body is not getting exposed to the same things all the time. Now, if therapeutically you're on a program that your doctor has you on to be on a certain lipid protocol to help balance your omega-3 to 6 ratios or something like that, that's fine, right? But you can be on that for a longer period of time until you're post-test to see where you're at. But once you've got to a state of homeostasis and optimal function, that's where I think it's good to kind of change up your routine around the supplements. So I do that. I have my assistant put together the supplements for me every other week. And we do every single day for 2 weeks, and then we change it up, right? Not everything's changed up, but we like to change things up. So I do that. I work out. I'm working out outside. I'm working out inside. I'm doing different things in my workout. And it's just, again, a really, really powerful habit to get into, which is so important for your brain. And then throughout the day, I'm using different biohacking technologies. I have a red light panel under my desk. I have a hydrogen unit, essentially a hydrogen unit that's really good, that I breathe in hydrogen into my body, into my brain, through my olfactory system every single day. So 1 hour session with this hydrogen is the same as 700 to 1,000 bottles of hydrogen water in a day. So obviously I'm gonna take the 1 hour of breathing the hydrogen therapy as well. So a lot more that I could talk about, but I just wanna say in my closing insights is that living longer means living smarter. Every single thing that you do today shapes how your brain will function in your 80s, in your 90s, and beyond. It's not just about memory, it's about living with vibrance and mental health. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this content, please share it with your friends. Go ahead, click that like button, the follow button, click that bell if you're on YouTube, and make sure that you are notified when future videos come out. Thank you so much. Have a great day.